"I'm a nurse, Ethan," I said, and for the first time I smiled and it felt real. "I'm not going to hurt them. I'm going to make them confess. On camera. The same way your dad filmed me. Then I'm going to give the whole town the ending to my ghost story they've been waiting for." I made him go upstairs and make coffee like everything was normal. I zip-tied his wrists loosely behind the kitchen chair, not tight enough to hurt, just enough so Tucker would see it and panic. I set up my phone on a tripod facing the kitchen table. I set up the old handycam next to it, the red light blinking. At 7:42 a.m., Dale Tucker's old Chevy pulled into the driveway. He walked in without knocking, like cops in small towns do. He was heavier now, white beard, wearing a bait shop flannel. He saw Ethan tied to the chair. He saw me standing by the sink in Linda Walker's kitchen. He saw the photo of 16-year-old me on the table. He stopped dead. "Sarah McCready," he said. It wasn't a question either. "Hi, Dale," I said. "Been a long time. Sit down. We need to talk about July 7th, 2000. He looked at the gun on the counter, then at Ethan, then at me. He didn't reach for his own weapon. He just sat down, heavy, in the chair across from Ethan. 23 years of guilt will do that to a man. Outside the window, I saw Helen Abernathy coming across the lawn with a Pyrex dish covered in foil. Right on time. I pressed record on both cameras. "Let's start from the beginning," I said to Dale Tucker, in the same calm voice I use with combative patients in the ER. "Tell me why you never checked the hospitals in Williamsport." Dale Tucker didn't answer right away. He looked at the gun on the counter, then at Ethan tied to the chair, then at me. His cop brain was doing the math. He was 67, overweight, with a bad knee. I was 36, calm, with a camera running. He knew he wasn't going to shoot his way out of Linda Walker's kitchen. "Turn that off," he said finally, nodding at my phone. "No," I said. I was using my ER voice, the one I use when a drunk patient tries to pull out his IV. Flat, kind, immovable. "You turned off the investigation 23 years ago, Dale. I'm turning it back on." He sighed, a deep rattling sound. "Sarah, honey, you don't understand what it was like then." "Then explain it to me. On camera." Ethan was watching him too. I could see the betrayal building in Ethan's face. This was the man who used to give him a badge sticker every 4th of July parade. Dale leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. "James Walker called me that night. About 11:30, he was hysterical. Said he'd hit something on Route 17. Thought it was a deer, then saw it was you on your bike. Said you were alive but bleeding bad. He panicked. He'd been drinking at the fire hall. He asked me what to do." My hands didn't shake. I had waited for this sentence for half my life. "What did you tell him?" I asked. "I told him to bring you to me, to the station. We'd call an ambulance, say we found you, but he didn't. He called back 20 minutes later and said he'd taken you home, that you were in his cellar, that you were breathing. He was going to get his wife and figure it out." "And you didn't drive over?" Ethan said, his voice cracking. "I was going to," Dale said, looking at him. "I was halfway to your house when Linda called me on the house phone. She said James had changed his mind, that he'd already taken the girl to Williamsport himself, to the hospital, that it was handled. She begged me not to ruin James over an accident. He was a volunteer, a good man. She said your family would sue us into the ground." Linda lied to the cop to cover the lie she was about to tell. "So you took her word," I said. "I took the word of two people I'd known for 30 years over doing paperwork that would have destroyed them," Dale said. "And the next morning, when your parents reported you missing, I already had a story in my head. I didn't check Williamsport, Sarah. I didn't check any hospital outside the county. I didn't want to find you." The kitchen was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Helen Abernathy was at the back door now. I could see her shadow through the curtain. She knocked, 3 quick, polite taps. "Come in, Helen," I called out without taking my eyes off Dale. She pushed the door open with her hip, holding the Pyrex dish. "Ethan, honey, I brought you a tuna." She stopped. She saw Ethan tied to the chair. She saw Dale Tucker sitting like a scolded kid. She saw me. The dish slipped. I caught it before it hit the floor. Tuna casserole, still warm. "Mrs. Abernathy," I said. "Perfect timing. Sit down." She didn't move. Her face went white, then gray. She recognized me. Of course she did. She'd lived 3 houses down my whole childhood. She'd watched me grow up. "Sarah," she whispered, "Lord have mercy." "Not yet," I said. I pulled out the 3rd chair at the table and patted it. "Sit. You're part of this too." She sat, automatic, like she was in church. I put the casserole on the counter. "Dale was just explaining why he buried my case," I said. "Now it's your turn, Helen. Tell Ethan why you told the police you saw him on his bike at 10 p.m. that night." Her hands were twisting in her lap. I thought I did. It was dark." "You told my mother in 2002 that you weren't sure," I said, and I pulled out the printed email from my folder, the one my mom had forwarded to a true crime blog in 2015 before she died of an overdose in 2019. "You wrote, 'I may have been mistaken, it could have been a shadow,' but you never told the police." "I was scared," she burst out, tears coming fast. "Linda came to me the next day. She was crying. She said if people thought Ethan did it, they'd look at James, and James would go to jail and lose everything. She begged me not to say I was unsure. She said you were probably dead anyway and it wouldn't bring you back." Ethan made a choked sound. "You let them think it was me for a year." "I brought you food," Helen sobbed. "I prayed for you." I let her cry for 30 seconds. Then I leaned in. "Helen, look at me." She looked up. "I lived because your neighbor left me at a hospital. I lived with a head injury and no family because you were scared of Linda Walker. Do you know what I did every July 7th for the last 10 years? I sat on that ridge and watched you light a candle for me. You lit a candle for a girl you helped kill." Dale put his head in his hands. Helen was shaking. Ethan was staring at the table, at the Polaroid of me on the mattress. I stood up and picked up the handy cam. The red light was still blinking. "My dad died thinking I hated him for not looking harder," I said to no one in particular. "My mom died thinking the Walkers killed me. The whole town thinks I'm a ghost on Route 17, and the 3 of you gotta live normal lives." I walked around the table and stood behind Dale and Helen, so both cameras caught their faces. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You are both going to give a full confession right now on both cameras. Names, dates, what Linda told you to do. Then you are going to walk out of here and you are going to drive to the Millerton Town Hall. Tonight at 7 p.m. there is a supervisor's meeting. You are going to stand up during public comment and you are going to play this video for the whole town." Dale looked up, panicked. "Sarah, I'll lose my pension. I'll lose everything." "You lost everything the night you decided I wasn't worth the paperwork," I said. "Helen, you will lose your garden club presidency. Ethan will lose the story that his parents were good people. And I will finally get to stop being dead." Helen was nodding through tears. Dale was not. He was a cop. He was calculating. "I could arrest you right now," he said quietly. "Kidnapping. Assault. You could try," I said, and I picked up the gun again, not pointing it, just holding it. But then I'd send the other copy of this video, the one already uploaded to a cloud drive, to the Pennsylvania State Police Internal Affairs, the Williamsport Gazette, and every true crime YouTuber in the country. Your choice, Dale. Confess in front of Millerton or confess in front of America. He stared at me for a long minute. Then something broke in his face. Not fear. Shame. "Turn the cameras on," he said. For the next 47 minutes, Dale Tucker and Helen Abernathy told the truth. Dale detailed the phone calls from James and Linda. Helen detailed the visit from Linda the next morning. The exact words, "Please, Helen, for the sake of my boy." Ethan sat tied to the chair and listened to his entire childhood unravel. When they finished, both of them were crying. I stopped the recordings. I untied Ethan's hands. He rubbed his wrists and didn't look at either of them. I walked Dale and Helen to the door. 7 p.m. Town Hall. If you're not there, the video goes public at 7:01. They left without the casserole. Ethan and I were alone in his mother's kitchen. He looked at me, exhausted. "What now?" "Now?" I said, ejecting the tape from the handycam and slipping it into my pocket. "We go to the cemetery. I want to see what they wrote on my tombstone." He didn't argue. He just grabbed his keys. As we walked out to his truck, I looked up at the ridge above Route 17. For the first time in 23 years, I wasn't watching the vigil from the shadows. Tonight, the town was going to watch me. Ethan didn't talk on the drive to the cemetery. He just drove his dad's old Ford, the same truck that hit me, which felt like a bad joke the universe was playing. I sat in the passenger seat where I had bled 23 years ago and watched the cornfields blur past on Route 17. Millerton Cemetery is on a small hill behind the Methodist Church. It's not big. Maybe 300 stones? Ethan parked by the iron gate and left the engine running for a minute, like he wasn't sure I really wanted to do this. "You don't have to," he said. "Yes, I do," I said. "I need to see what they wrote." We walked through the wet grass. It was October, so the leaves were down and the air smelled like rot and cold. He knew exactly where to go. 3rd row from the back, under a maple tree. There it was. A small white marble stone, simple. Sarah Ann McCready, beloved daughter, July 12th, 1984 to July 7th, 2000, gone but not forgotten. I stared at it for a long time. My birthday was July 12th. They buried an empty box 5 days after I disappeared, on what would have been my 16th birthday. My parents couldn't wait. Or maybe they needed closure. Next to my stone were 2 newer ones. My dad, Robert McCready, 1960 to 2015, heart attack at 55. My mom, Diane McCready, 1962 to 2019. The stone didn't say how she died. I knew. Overdose of prescription pills. 2 years after she started posting on that true crime blog, begging someone to reopen my case. I knelt down and put my hand on the cold grass over my own grave. It was empty. There was nothing under there but dirt and worms. I had spent 23 years being nothing. "I used to come here on your birthday," Ethan said quietly behind me. "My mom made me. She'd bring flowers, she'd cry. She was good at crying," I said. My voice didn't break. I was a trauma nurse. I had watched people die for 12 years. I knew how to keep my voice flat. "Did she ever bring flowers to Williamsport? To the Jane Doe she left at the ER?" He didn't answer.
I stood up and looked at my parents' stones. My dad stopped looking after 2 years. The private investigator cost too much. My mom never stopped. She wrote to Dale Tucker every month for 10 years. He never answered one letter. Ethan put his hand on my shoulder, hesitant. "I'm sorry, Sarah." I shrugged his hand off. Not mean, just automatic. "Don't be sorry yet. Be useful tonight." We left the cemetery at 4 p.m. I made Ethan drive me to the Dollar General on Main Street. I bought a black blazer, a white shirt, and a pair of cheap black pants. I went into the family bathroom and changed out of the jeans and hoodie I'd worn to break into his house. I washed my face, pulled my dark hair back into a tight ponytail, and looked at myself in the cracked mirror. I looked like a professional. I looked like someone the town council would listen to. I did not look like a ghost. At 6:30 p.m., we parked across from the Millerton Town Hall, a brick building the size of a post office. The supervisors' meeting was already starting. I could see the warm light through the windows, the folding chairs set up. About 40 people were inside, the usual crowd. Farmers, church ladies, the high school principal. Dale Tucker's Chevy was in the lot. So was Helen Abernathy's Subaru. They had come. Good. Ethan was shaking. Sarah, are you sure about this? These are my neighbors, my mom's friends. They were my neighbors too, I said. They let me die. We're doing this. At 6:58 p.m., I walked in with Ethan behind me. I didn't hide. I walked straight down the middle aisle in my new blazer, my phone in my hand, connected to the little projector I'd bought on Amazon last week. The room went quiet in stages. First, the people near the door saw me, then the next row, then the front. Whispers started. Who is that? She looks familiar. Helen Abernathy saw me and went white. Dale Tucker stood up from his seat in the back like he was going to run. The town supervisor, a man named Jim Potter, who had been on the council since I was in kindergarten, banged his gavel. "Excuse me, miss. Public comment isn't until—" I didn't wait. I plugged my phone into the projector and hit play. The video filled the white wall behind the council table. It was Dale Tucker's face, in Linda Walker's kitchen that morning. My name is Dale Tucker. I was a deputy with the Pennsylvania State Police in 2000. On the night of July 7th, 2000, James Walker called me and told me he'd hit Sarah McCready with his truck. The room gasped. Someone said, "Oh my God!" Helen Abernathy started crying loudly. The video cut to Helen. Linda Walker came to my house the next morning and begged me not to tell police I was unsure about seeing Ethan. Then it cut to the Polaroid. Me, 16, alive on the mattress in the Walker cellar. She lived! 11:04 p.m., July 7th, 2000. Then it cut to Linda Walker's voice from her deathbed tape. I took her to Williamsport and left her. By the time the video ended at 7 minutes, the town hall was completely silent. 40 people staring at a wall, then staring at me. Jim Potter found his voice first. Who are you? I stepped up to the microphone at the podium. I looked out at the faces I had known my whole childhood. Mrs. Jenkins, my third-grade teacher. Mr. Davies, who ran the hardware store. The girls who used to babysit me.
I leaned into the mic, and I said the words I'd been waiting 23 years to say out loud in this town. I am Sarah Ann McCready. I am 36 years old, and I am not dead. The silence broke. People stood up. Someone screamed. Helen Abernathy fainted into her husband's arms. Dale Tucker walked out the back door and didn't come back. Ethan stood at the back of the room watching me. He wasn't crying anymore. He was just watching the town that had buried me finally see me alive. I looked at the crowd, at all their shocked, guilty faces, and I felt something I hadn't felt since I was 16 years old on a mattress in a root cellar. I felt powerful. This is not over, I said into the microphone. This is just the beginning. I have 23 years of questions, and every single one of you who lit a candle for me while you knew the truth is going to answer them. Outside, on Route 17, the streetlights flickered on, illuminating the telephone pole where my yearbook photo still hung. Tonight, the ghost story was over. Tonight, the revenge story was just starting. I am Sarah McCready. I am 36 years old, and I stood in the Millerton town hall and watched my own funeral end. After I said my name into that microphone, nobody moved for maybe 10 seconds. Then the room exploded. Not with anger, with noise. People standing, crying, shouting questions. Jim Potter banged his gavel until it broke. Dale Tucker was already gone out the back door. Helen Abernathy was on the floor being fanned by her husband. Ethan was still standing at the back, just watching me like he was seeing me for the first time. I didn't run. I stood right there at the podium and let them look. The state trooper who was there for security, a young kid named Miller who wasn't even born in 2000, walked up to me slowly like I might disappear. "Ma'am, are you..." Are you really Sarah McCready? I pulled my driver's license from my blazer pocket. Pennsylvania. Sarah J. Jones. Then I pulled the folded copy of my original birth certificate from my other pocket. Sarah Ann McCready. He radioed it in. Within an hour, the town hall was full of state police, not local. Within 3 hours, the video I played was on every news station in Pennsylvania. Dale Tucker turned himself in at 11 p.m. that night at the state police barracks in Lamar. He gave a full, written confession, the same one he'd given on my camera, plus more. He admitted he took a $5,000 loan from James Walker in 2001 to help with his son's college, a loan that was never repaid. Obstruction, official misconduct, and accepting a bribe. At 67, he lost his pension, his bait shop, and he got 18 months in county jail. I watched his sentencing on YouTube from my hotel room in Williamsport. He looked at the camera once. He didn't say sorry. He didn't have to. The truth was the punishment. Helen Abernathy didn't go to jail. She was 72. She pled guilty to false statements to law enforcement. The judge gave her community service. 200 hours at the Millerton Historical Society, archiving old newspapers. The irony was perfect. She has to file every single article about my disappearance for the next year. She came to my parents' graves last month and left flowers. I didn't speak to her. I just let her cry. Ethan Walker sold the house on Route 17. He didn't want the money. He signed the deed over to me for $1. "It's yours," he said when we met at the lawyer's office. It always should have been. I didn't forgive him that day. Forgiveness is not part of revenge, but I understood him. He was just a kid who lost his whole family to a lie. The district attorney reopened my case and officially reclassified it from missing presumed dead to aggravated assault, kidnapping, and criminal conspiracy. Since James and Linda Walker were both dead, there was no trial. There was only the public record. Their names are now in the Pennsylvania crime database forever. Linda's perfect church lady reputation died with that tape. I used the settlement money from Linda's estate, Ethan insisted I take it, to pay off my nursing school loans and to buy back my parents' old house on the other end of Route 17. The people who lived there sold it to me cheap when they found out who I was. I moved in on July 7th, 2024, exactly 24 years after I disappeared. People ask me if I feel better now, if the revenge worked. I tell them revenge wasn't about hurting them. It was about taking my name back. For 23 years, I was Sarah Jones, the foster kid, the night nurse, the girl who flinched at loud trucks. I lived a half-life because Linda Walker decided I was easier dead than inconvenient. Now I am Sarah McCready again. I work 3 shifts a week at the Williamsport ER, and I volunteer 1 shift a month at the free clinic in Millerton, the same clinic where Dale Tucker used to get his blood pressure checked. The nurses there call me the Miracle Girl. I let them. Ethan comes by sometimes to fix the wiring in my old house. We don't talk about that night in the cellar much. Last week he brought his daughter, Maya. She's 8. She asked me why everyone in town stares at me at the grocery store. I told her, because they thought I was a ghost story and now I'm just your neighbor. She thought that was cool. I still have the Polaroid. She lived. 11:04 p.m. July 7th, 2000. Forgive me. I keep it in a frame on my mantle, next to my parents' wedding photo. I don't forgive James Walker. I don't need to. He documented his own crime for me. On the first Saturday of every month, I walk down to mile marker 4 on Route 17. I take down the laminated yearbook photo the church youth group still tries to put up. I replace it with a new sign I had made. It's simple, black letters on white. Sarah McCready lives here. Drive carefully. Last month, a teenager on a bike stopped and asked me if I was really her. I said yes. He asked if I was mad. I told him the truth. I was, for a long time. But being mad kept me alive. Now being alive is enough. That is my justice. Not jail time, not money, not even the confessions. My justice is that I get to grow old in the town that buried me. I get to plant tomatoes in my mom's garden. I get to hear the cicadas on July nights and not be afraid. Linda Walker thought she could leave me at a hospital and erase me. She was wrong. I came back. I told the truth. And the truth did what 23 years of candles never could. It set me free. That was the story of Sarah McCready, a girl everyone believed was dead, but who came back to serve her own justice. If you love real feel revenge, mystery, and justice-based true story-style tales like this one, then subscribe to my channel, Justice Served Tales, right now. Every week I bring you a story where the victim doesn't just cry. She comes back. She fights. And in the end, justice is truly served. I'll see you again in the next story. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, and remember, sometimes the dead don't stay buried.